Welcome to Nonstop. It's the official and season show of Kirk, Herbstreit, and Joey Galloway. Your first stop for all things football, college and pro, every Monday.
All right, Monday, October 20th. Joseph Scott Galloway and myself are going to have a chance to break down a lot of college football talk. We'll get into some NFL. Boy, what another crazy week. It really started off Friday night with Miami getting upset against Louisville, who, by the way, maybe Louisville's a really good team. You know, instead of what's wrong with Miami, maybe it's what's right with Louisville, kind of kicking off the weekend. But yeah, Joey, hope you had a good weekend. I know you and the boys every week get after it. You haven't.
Hey, did you send out a tweet?
I did. I think
because if you did, if people were to see what's going on before we start this with the technology, if you send out a tweet, I can't find it. I wanted to retweet you.
I think I did.
Oh gosh,
I did. I in fact included you. I thought.
I'm just trying to find it so I can retweet you, and I can't.
Yeah, dude. I sent it 4 minutes ago.
4 minutes back.
Yeah, and I put at Joey Galloway on the tweet, and I put Ryan Day on the tweet. Oh. Ryan Day will join us in about 19 minutes.
All right, looking forward to that. I can't find a tweet, but I'm looking forward to talking to Coach Day.
You are worse than me when it comes to technology.
I'm bad. I literally
cannot. How are you that bad?
The fact that I can't find a tweet is
you send me dance videos every week.
Yeah, but that's on I can send a message. I can't operate Twitter.
You're a damn mess.
Yeah, I can't find it.
What do you do with Twitter?
The only time I get on Twitter is when you send me some stuff, and then I gotta look.
Something annoyed me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mess with that.
What game stood out? What game stood out to you? What moment stood out to you? There was a lot of great games. I mean, there was. I don't even know where we could get into. Ohio State continues to just kind of flex about who they are, and
we don't even get to talk about them much. They just
we don't.
Sort of
What's interesting about them is how easy it is when you're technically the better team.
Yes,
and you just kind of show up that week, go through the motions, and nobody get hurt, move on to the next one. They don't ever do that. They show up against a standard, and they play to that standard so far every single week. And it almost doesn't matter whether they're playing Texas, the whole world is watching, either playing Luke Fickell in Wisconsin, who's clearly struggling. It's the same team. I think that's as good of a characteristic and maybe as good of a compliment you can give them.
Yep.
Is anything XO.
That's what Alabama used to do when they had Coach Saban. And I was always so impressed. Like everything in their building was like all about us, all about what we do. Doesn't matter what the opponent is. And Ohio State has now become that. What is going to be interesting to me, if you really look at Ohio State's resume, last week you came out, you had Indiana #1 above Ohio State because of the huge win on the road at Oregon. It's going to be very interesting now with Ohio State's resume, I would say somewhat falling apart because Texas in the beginning of the season was #1, #2, #3, wherever you want to put them. And that's a huge win for Ohio State. That has sort of fallen off some. And we haven't started.
What's the most impressive win they have right now?
That's when it gets interesting when we talk rankings. Their most impressive win has to be still Texas, maybe Illinois
on the
road. But with Penn State, and this happens in conferences like the Big Ten, you start a season with a team like Penn State that is highly ranked. They get into the season and they lose a few games. Now the Penn State game won't be ranked, and that's their next opponent to get a bye week, and then Penn State. So that'll no longer be a great win if they beat Penn State. Michigan just lost to USC, and then they beat Washington. So as these resumes continue, we are 2 weeks away from the committee putting out their rankings. it'll be very interesting to see what the committee does with the Ohio State resume, with Texas, with now looking like at Illinois being your best win.
I agree. But I think if they just keep playing the way they are, sometimes you
Doesn't
look
matter.
beyond the resume. Sometimes you look beyond the resume and you're just looking at a good football team. And I think we all
Absolutely right.
see that. I thought on a Monday, I was on a college game day. We do a Monday morning conference call to kind of start the week. And I brought up a topic about, we're 9 weeks, about to start, I think, of the 9th week this week. We have 6 weeks remaining until conference championship week. And I thought, how many teams, I remember thinking about this last year. In the past, when it was a 4-team playoff, you'd get near the end of October, and truthfully, there was 9, 10 teams that you really thought had a legitimate shot at making it into the end. And I remember thinking last year when they opened it up to 12, how that might keep a lot more teams obviously into it. So I thought this week, I wanted to share this with you. I think we might do something on this on game day Saturday. But if you look at each of the Power 4 conferences, the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, and the SEC, and then you look at the Group of 5, and then you look at Notre Dame, I've added all those teams up, and I've got 5 from the American who either have 0 or 1 loss within their own conference. You can throw JMU. JMU's out of the Sun Belt. So that's 6 teams from that Group of 5. The ACC right now has 8 teams with 0 or 1 loss. The Big 12 has 5 with 0 or 1 loss. The Big 10 has 9 with 0 or 1 loss. I'm talking in conference play for all these teams.
Yep.
The SEC has 8 with 0 or 1 loss, and then you throw in Notre Dame. It's 37 teams.
Yeah.
37 teams and 37 fan bases that legitimately, with only 6 weeks to go, not 6 weeks, you are technically, no matter whether you've been having a good season or you're frustrated like Texas, you're technically still in the mix to get hot, to get healthy, to get on a run, which is what this thing should be all about. Ohio State lost to Michigan at the end of the regular season last year, got hot, bought in, beat Tennessee, and the way they went to win 4 in a row. It's about getting better as the year goes on. Technically, 37 teams have that opportunity. Does that surprise you to hear with 6 weeks to go? There's still 37 teams out there?
It doesn't surprise me. I think what surprised me more is probably a week or two ago when we were having a discussion on college football final, where 8 of the 12 teams that got in had 2 losses. I mean, if you think about where we are, and it speaks to your point, last season, 8 of the 12 playoff teams had 2 losses coming in. The national champion, Ohio State, had 2 losses coming in. That's why this is terrific and why it becomes more fun. And then when you think Notre Dame started 0-2, 0-2, 2 really good losses, Miami, Texas A&M, but they start 0-2 and they're not dead. So it keeps a lot of people alive. The Group of 5 just got very interesting with Memphis losing possibly the worst loss of the season to UAB.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to?
Yeah.
Possibly the worst loss of the season, and they get USF coming up, who is ranked. So the Group of 5 just got it's going to get good anyhow. But if you look at the American and
it's wide
USF,
open,
who's
wide
ranked, and they don't play Tulane, who's the other team that has a chance. So Tulane and USF don't play in the regular season. Navy's a good football team, but USF and Tulane both go on the road later in the season to play Memphis. USF coming up this week, and then later on Tulane goes on the road. So that'll be another data point that the committee will have to compare these things. This is going to be really, really good and fun to watch. You got Boise State out there. It's the Group of 5 situation is going to be fun to keep an eye on as much as any other conference out there in a Group of 4. It's going to be fun to watch what happens there.
Yeah, and you could throw San Diego State in there. You could throw Boise State. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, 6 weeks to go. and we really have a wide open situation in a lot of these conferences. The SEC was big this week. There was some big games in that conference. Vanderbilt was able to rebound after the disappointing loss down in Tuscaloosa, had the bye week, had another big game, favored over a top 10 opponent in LSU, and backed it up, showed that, this is I've said since day one, Diego Pavia creates a belief on that roster, but Clark Lee is a really, really good coach, and he's built a really good program. And I think Vandy, as a support staff behind the scenes, the NIL world, have gotten behind him. It really does. It feels like
different.
And when they take the field, it's not like when you and I played it in the Big Ten. Northwestern was that team. There's very, very good education, not great football back when we would play, and they would win a game. Gary Barnett got them going, but if they won a game, it was kind of like, wow, they won a game.
Wow, they got one.
They got one. And then they'd kind of go back. Now, Gary Barnett got them up with that Pat Fitzgerald run in 95. But this Vandy team, I think we saw signs of it last year. Now they have to deal with, now people expect something from them, and they don't back down. They're physical, kind of like Indiana, physical at the line of scrimmage, got a quarterback that makes you believe, really good defense. I mean, I keep saying if they didn't turn the ball over in Tuscaloosa, they probably win that football game.
Yeah.
And then they back it up with a win against LSU. So game day's going there this week for Missouri and Vandy. So that was a big one. Ole Miss, what do you think of the Ole Miss game against Georgia, who just refuses to start fast? They want you to body blow them into halftime and then take over the second half. What stood out about that game for you?
Gunnar Stockton going 12 of 12 in the second half, 3 touchdowns. And I always look at teams coming in. Gunnar Stockton had 6 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns. He was leading the team in rushing touchdowns, added another. And I always wonder, can teams like that survive when your quarterback is also carrying you in the run game? It always makes me wonder if a team like that can stay healthy. It makes me wonder that about a team like Georgia Tech and Haynes King. Can you stay healthy and do that? And Gunnar Stockton probably had his best 2 quarters of the season in the second half against an Ole Miss team. And so the SEC is setting itself up for, I think there's 10 teams ranked in the SEC. And you look at the gauntlet that some of these teams have to go through. Georgia playing Ole Miss, and now Ole Miss has another big one coming up. Those are going to be some interesting questions because we're going to get to the end, and there's going to be some SEC teams with maybe even 3 losses that we are having conversations about. Are they better than maybe a 1-loss ACC, a 1-loss Big Ten? But their schedules, and you talk about Vandy. It ain't Vandy knocked off Alabama last year. Hey, they're a legitimate good football team now. The SEC, and I think any person that watches college football would agree, the SEC is deeper than any other conference in the country. And these teams go through these schedules and these gauntlets. Like, look at what Alabama just went through. And to have their 4th straight ranked game being a Tennessee team that's really talented. So here we are again saying, hey, what are we going to do with the SEC? Who do you think is going to win the SEC? I'm one week ago, we didn't know. And do you feel any better?
No. I mean, Bama feels like, I know right now A&M is up, I think, to 3 in the country, and they're 7-0, and they haven't really been tested the way some of these other teams have been tested. I think Alabama is the most impressive to me after they got embarrassed against Florida State, and everybody wanted to say Kalen DeBoer. Even their own fans are like, what are we doing here?
What did we do?
Yes. And meanwhile, their quarterback's executing at an elite level. They went through that gauntlet. You mentioned Georgia on the road. Vanderbilt on the road at Missouri, and they get Tennessee. That's the 4 straight you're talking about. They got to be careful this week because LSU is looming on the back end. But in the meantime, you got to go to South Carolina, who's not having a great year. And what better way for South Carolina to kind of salvage their season than to take on Alabama and try to knock them off and upset Alabama? So It's just you just can never let your guard down when you're in that conference. And we get into this every week. I don't know if you had to throw the two teams out there right now who are going to get to the SEC championship. You have, I mean, you're basically flip a coin. I think Alabama, but who else? Who else is going to get there?
A&M's path, and again, we do this every week. We did it with Miami because they don't have any more ranked opponents.
Right. They just got to
get beat by a Louisville team. And if you look at A&M's path, they go to LSU. They have Missouri on the road. Then they got South Carolina, and then they finish with Texas. So if you look at their path, if they can stay healthy, if they can continue, if Marcel Reed can continue doing what he's doing, A&M's path to get there looks, can we call it manageable?
Yeah. I mean, compared to what Oklahoma and some of these other teams are doing, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think their path, so I'm going to say, and I don't feel great about it, I'm gonna pencil A&M. Okay. Say A&M has a really good shot to get to the SEC championship game.
Okay.
And then Alabama,
A&M.
I'm gonna go
fair.
But again, Alabama just went through the 4 teams you just named. They got to still play. You know what I mean? They got to get up for a South Carolina team that'll be absolutely ready.
I'll say this: Ole Miss. Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. It feels like they have a team, and they've had Matt Corral and Jackson Dart, and every time they might get into a bigger game, the deep end of the pool in the SEC, they come up a little bit short. Maybe I'm missing it. Their defense has got to get a lot better. Maybe they got to get healthier in the back end, especially at corner. But that offense, I think in the past, Ole Miss had 1 or 2 receivers that they kind of had to get the ball to. They got like 6 guys if you include the tight end. I love their back. They really didn't have a back last year. Kewan Lacey, they got a back. I just think you hate to have to outscore everybody when you get into the bigger games.
Absolutely right.
But I don't think because they lost, we have to say, okay, Ole Miss is out. What a game this week for both Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Early kick locally in Norman, 11 a.m. Both teams are desperate for a win. The winner is going to use this as a springboard into the rest of the year. The loser, it's, they're not technically done, but second loss in conference play, chances are you're probably not getting to Atlanta. But I was impressed. I left there really impressed with Ole Miss. And I'll tell you what I left there. Georgia is just a team that when it happens so many times, you just have to realize that's their personality. That's who they are. We saw it at times last year. They'd get down. We always want to give Kirby credit for the adjustments. I talked to Kirby about it. He's like, yeah, there's a few adjustments here and there, but really we play with a different edge in the second half. And so that was on display this past week as well. I mean, are you buying into Georgia, or do you think they've got it to be a legit team? They got to put 60 minutes together.
I'm buying in because of the second half, because of what Gunnar Stockton did in that second half.
And their defense cranked it up when they had
absolutely right. To me, it's like in baseball, if you have a closer, then you have a terrific chance to win a lot of games. And right now, it looks like Georgia has a closer. It looks like in the moments when you need it, they can make those plays. And if you look at the other side, you mentioned Oklahoma. We talked about this before. Their schedule is brutal moving forward. They got Ole Miss, they go to Tennessee, they go to Alabama, they got Missouri, they got LSU.
Yeah.
It's a tough road. Mateer doesn't look like the same Mateer before he hurt his thumb. And so they struggled a little bit, but you're right. They need this one. And it's going to, whichever team wins the Ole Miss Oklahoma game is still going to be in it. The other team, it's going to be a difficult, especially if Oklahoma loses that one.
Yeah.
Their path gets really tough. really hard.
Well, we'll get back to this in a second. Should mention, by the way, A&M. I know you mentioned they haven't been tested. They haven't been tested with the consistency of other teams. They did go to
Yes.
South Bend and win that game.
Big win.
So you got to give them credit for that. But just the week in, week out body blows that you face in that conference is brutal. Hey, let's bring in Coach Ryan Day from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes are right now having a great year. We were just talking about how impressive it is, no matter who the opponent is. Ohio State and Coach Day, they show up ready to go. Coach Day, how you doing, man?
Good,
to see
fellas. How we doing?
What's up, Coach?
Good. We were just saying the challenges of trying to get a team to show up every week. I can't even imagine what that's like. Almost impossible, right? To bring your fastball every week. Can you just, for fans, maybe talk a little bit about, you're playing Texas, the whole world is watching.
Right.
The guy's got some juice during the week, but it's hard to maintain that every week. But yet, as an outsider watching you guys, you're the one team that seems to be the same every single week. Can you talk about the challenges of that and how do you pull it off? How do you do it?
Well, I think the first thing is, it has to be about the routine of the week and making sure that you're focusing on your process and your routine. I think the minute you start to change things, as coaches, as players in your preparation based on who you're playing, then you can set yourself up for a lot of ups and downs. And that's one thing that, to me, I've really tried to, every year you try to learn more and more. And, at Ohio State, there's certain games that, you're expected to win by, a certain margin. And then you have these other games that are a little bit more of matchup games. And I think the easy thing to do is to, the ones you circle is like all of a sudden you start to ramp things up. And that's something that I've tried to really learn year in and year out to continue to keep the routine, and then just make sure that you're focused on your process, but then you have to know your opponent. And I think as we've learned last year, a lot of times it's going to come down to matchups, as we start to project what the end of the season is going to look like. You look at all these different teams across the country, kind of like in the NFL, a lot of it comes down to your matchups. And then what are you willing to do or able to do as a team to adjust and adapt in order to attack what you're seeing schematically or personnel wise. So I think all those things come into play. And I think the other part of it is, talking to your team about being mature, like growing up and being a veteran team emotionally, mentally, taking care of your body. So physically you can bring it every single week. And there's a seriousness about that you have to understand that, every time you go on the field, you're putting it on the line. You're putting your season on the line. And each week, especially in conference right now, I know, we talk about it here, is that, we're playing for a chance to get to Indianapolis. We haven't been there in a little while. So we need to get there. And every time you're playing, if you don't win that game, you put yourself at risk of getting to Indianapolis. So, understanding what's on the table and being consistent, I think, is important.
Coach, when you talk about matchups, and we look at you guys every week and we say, okay, they got one guy outside Jeremiah Smith. Nobody can match up with him. But then you look on the other side and Tate is also like, so you automatically walk in with two. We got two matchup disadvantage here. Heck, the first catch that Tate made for the touchdown, he's double covered. Yeah. And it literally didn't matter. So when you look at the play sheet, you're like, man, what can we run? What's that like? We can run whatever we want to run. We can throw it to either. Hey, Coach, we can throw it to either one of these guys. We can throw it to any one of these guys anytime we want. How's that feel?
Yeah, I wish it was just like that.
Backyard football.
But it's
throw it downfield.
It's been a lot of hard work to, put a roster together so that you have the complements that you need. Like you're saying, you have to have balance. You have to be able to run the football and then have multiple weapons. And I think to your point, when you have multiple guys, you can put a lot of stress on the defense. But the guys we go against, they're good. They know what you're trying to do, and they're going to try to take away what you do best and then force you to play left-handed. That's how it goes. And then it's our job as coaches to try to make sure that, we're dictating how the game is going to be played. And that's the game within the game. But there's a lot of great coaches, a lot of great teams out there. And so we have to make sure that we're always staying ahead of the curve on that and staying on the attack. But that is the idea, is that, you have, guys on the perimeter that if they, garner a lot of attention on one side, the ball can go over here or to our tight end or, our running backs out of the backfield, and then obviously establishing the run game. So all those things come into play. And as we know, as we start to get into November and into some of these big games, like the one that's coming up here in 2 weeks for us, I mean, you have to be able to attack in all those areas, because otherwise they'll find your weakness. I mean, these coaches are great.
Coach, it feels like we've moved, not we, but as you look now, every single week, we're talking about another coach getting fired. Is there something in the recruiting cycle, in the transfer portal, something that is making us move to this place where people are jumping in mid-season and firing coaches? Why is that so prevalent? It seems like more this year than we've ever seen before.
I don't have the answer to that, but I do know that anytime you make a change, there's a lot of things that have to go into play, and it takes time. And the first thing is you have to hit it right with your staff, and then you have to hit it right with the recruits, and then you have to bring in recruits that can put your culture together. And even when you put all those things in, you still may have injuries, you still may have mistakes along the way, and that takes time, which nobody wants to hear. And I get it. And, guys are going to make their decisions, and, there's a lot of pressure on administrators and athletic directors to get it right. And, when you fire somebody, you got to go figure out, are you going to go hire somebody that's better than the one you got? And I think that's not easy to do. And I get it more than anybody. We're at a place where you got to win every game, but sometimes, working through those difficult times and hanging in there, even though there's a lot of pressure coming from the outside, is the best thing to do. I think it's our job as coaches to make sure that we explain what the plan is moving forward to correct the issues, so that everybody within the administration is on the same page and can say, okay, he has a plan for how he's going to get these things fixed, whatever those things might be. And I think it's the job of the administration to support the coach and to let them know that, we have your back, even though we expect to win X number of games and this is our expectation. But I do think it's our job to make sure we're finding what the problems are, getting them addressed, and then putting a plan moving forward on how we're going to get them addressed. But all that to be said, we're in a day and age where you look at the NFL. I mean, it seems like every year or two, a lot of these organizations are flipping coaches over, and I guess some of them work out, but many of them are more unstable or unstable than they've ever been. So I think there's no science to it all. And, we're all still working to, try to do everything we can to, figure out what's next and what the answers are. So, question.
Joey and I were talking about the consistency. It's one thing to get up there. It's another thing to try to maintain it. You've done that. Forget not just national championships. I'm talking about just consistently being a winner and having that. I mean, you lost 8 guys off of a defense and a defensive coordinator. And so far, your defense looks as good, if not better. Can you talk about the challenges of maintaining excellence and not allowing complacency to creep in, or jealousy that why is he getting the ball more than me? How do you manage all of that and consistently have a winning organization?
Yeah, I think the first thing is the people you bring into your program. And I know that sounds cliche, and this is actually something I talked to our team about this past week. All the cliche things that you say in today's day and age, everybody wants to talk about the new thing or the next thing, but hard work, loyalty, dedication, sacrifice, unselfishness, those are all the things that really matter the most now, although people get bored with them, and we can't get bored with those things, because they're the ones that matter in the end. And I think it starts with, the type of people that you bring in. If you're going to bring in a player or a coach that, wants the most money, don't be surprised when they walk out the door when they don't get it. You're going to get what you recruit. And that's not easy, because sometimes nowadays we have to let people either walk out of the organization or don't come into the organization, because if that's the number one thing, that's what you're going to get in your program. And it's not easy. It's a challenge to make sure you try to find the right people that fit your culture. Everybody has their own culture.
How do you find that? How do you figure that out?
Well, I think
Just
trial and error. Trial and error.
talk. No, but I just mean like on a recruiting trip, like if you see their intention, maybe their parents' intention, like is it something like that? Like how do you figure out?
Let's go a
who's
step
fit?
further though. Like a step
Yeah.
further, and that is with the portal. It's not like it's different now because now you're recruiting a portal also. So when Herbie says like, how do you figure that out? Because you've done a heck of a job having success
Figured
with
it
this.
out.
But
Yeah.
you also got to figure out like the portal. Like when you got to go get guys out the portal, like do you get this same amount of time speaking to them as it is like when you're recruiting a kid out of high school? Like how do you figure that part out also?
No, but you have to ask a lot of hard questions and you have to trust your intuition at some things. But if the number one thing is just like the talent, if that's the number one thing you're looking at, like, okay, that you have to have talented players. If you don't, you're going to lose.
Right.
But are we really prioritizing the work ethic, the type of person that they are when you go to talk to their high school coach or their family, like what is most important to them? But just even sitting in your office and just your interaction with the family, you can learn a lot about that, about what's their priority. And I say it a lot, like there's a lot of great programs and, maybe Ohio State is the right place for you. Maybe it's not. Like you have to answer that question. And then in the end, like if you chose Ohio State, you're going to make it work because this is the right fit for you. If we have to talk you into it, there's a ton of great programs out there that you should probably look at and have a great career at. And like finding that balance is what we try to do. Knowing that we want really good players but that's what you have to do. And what you want, like if you want really tough players, you got to recruit tough players. If you want really smart players, you have to recruit smart players. And I know that sounds easy.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is simple.
Yeah, I think a lot of people cave into, oh my gosh, the 5-star, we got to get this guy, we got to get that guy. And you get such great media coverage if you quote unquote land that receiver, that running back. And I think sometimes, I'm not saying you or I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying when you watch it, I don't know if there's enough focus on do they fit the cultures. It's more about we got that guy. How about that? Can you believe it? We landed him. And that's when I think you start to go down a slippery slope that you're kind of referring to.
Yeah, and you got to get the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get 5 stars. Yeah, we got to get the best players in the country, but we got to get the right ones for us. The ones who believe in this program, the ones who like are helping us recruit the other players, the ones that just love the Buckeyes and have great relationships.
So that's still out there. That's still out there.
1,000%.
Okay. Because sometimes I think people, go ahead.
No, and I'll say this. I think a big part of it is their sphere of influence. It's the parents. It's the people that are advising them. Are they all on board? Are their priorities in line with our culture? Those are all things we take into consideration. Not that everything's perfect. It's not. That we all know, but we try to do the best we can to make those decisions with those folks.
What do you think you learned after last year, the Michigan game, the anguish, the frustration? I was there at senior tackle. You and I spoke. I could see a look in your eye. I could see a look in Trevion Henderson's eye and all those seniors. This team's about to do something unique, and then you guys make it run. What did you take away? There were some really difficult moments there for you and your family. And then to make that run, to stand on top of that mountain, how's that help you grow as a coach and prepare for this year, next year, and beyond?
Yeah, well, you learn every year. You grow every year. You do things well, you make mistakes. And then ultimately though, like it's like being the father or being, a husband where you have a family and, you got to do the best you can to do what's right. And when you have bad moments, you got to admit when you're wrong. You got to identify the things that are wrong, get them fixed, and then go from there. And I do think, you learn a lot about, how the season plays out. You learn about how you want to bring your team along. And then we talked about earlier, like sometimes like with these matchups, not every game's the same. Every game's different and how you're trying to attack guys and making sure you're doing what's right to put your guys in a situation to be successful. And that's everybody's job. But I think, when you see some of these young people who go through adversity and use that as a way to build up this like callousness, this toughness, this just, determination to win games, like it's an opportunity. And I think making sure they understand that, because as you get older, you realize like all this noise and pressure on the outside is just an opportunity to build up a toughness about your team as long as, you're not letting it seep into the building and affect everybody in the building. And as long as you have alignment, and that's why the off season is so important. So when the storms hit, you're strong. But yeah, to say those moments were easy, they weren't. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the people that are around you, and it makes the journey even that more enjoyable when you finish the way we did.
That's awesome. It's a great way to look at it.
Coach, question for you. Like, now when I look at the recruitment of quarterbacks, and you guys have been amazing in hitting on your quarterback situation. The portal's been amazing for you guys. The recruitment of high school quarterbacks versus going to the portal to get one, how has that changed your approach to just the process? Because you end up recruiting some guys that come to your program and they don't get to play because in today's world, nobody's waiting 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, and some of these high school guys got to wait and nobody's going to wait. How's that change your approach to what you're looking at?
Well, in a perfect world, we like to bring somebody in and then develop them while they're here. That doesn't
That would
always
be great.
work that way, like you said.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I think that if someone's going to come into our program, they have to have played a decent amount of football if they're going to play in year one, because what we do, how we do it is just maybe a little bit different than some of the other places. And so Will Howard, quite honestly, and he would tell you, I mean, it took until the first month of the season before he really, got a feel for how we do things, and what we do was just very different than where he came from. Julian, is in year 2, so he's picking it up. And usually it's the guys that have been in the program for at least a year that kind of understand it. And then we try to surround them with really good players, and then build them as it goes. And I think that's something that people probably don't talk about enough, is that you can make a quarterback look really, really good or really, really bad, and their confidence is really fragile when they're young. And then you can build up again this callousness and this resistance and just adversity, where they go through these tough times and they're able to come back and pull themselves off the map. Because when you look at the guys who make it, in my opinion, in the NFL, the majority of them have got their ass kicked before.
Yeah.
They're pull themselves out and keep working when everybody counts them out. That's probably one of the ultimate traits of being a quarterback.
Yeah.
And when they're young, you want to almost help them from what they don't know, but that's just how it works. And so I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question, but we could probably talk about this for hours. You know how I feel about quarterbacks. But I will say that is, if you're saying give me something that you look for in young quarterbacks, there's a lot of things: being able to process information, being competitive, being accurate, but then also, not, letting a setback, discourage you, being able to pull themselves off the mat when things go bad.
That's so good. And so I just did Georgia, and one of the things Gunnar Stockton's working on, and he's been in that program, this is his 4th year, and he's trying to be careful, especially early in games. He doesn't want to make a mistake, and they're trying to encourage him to, hey man, it's okay. Turn it loose. And sometimes he waits until the second half when maybe they're trailing, and then he gets into that mode, and it just comes through reps. It's one thing to say it, right? It's another thing to rep it and realize, hey, I need to recalibrate a little bit. Hey, we don't have a lot of time left with you. If you could change one thing in this NIL portal world, everybody off season, there's so much discussion, debate, just crap. If you could change one or two things, living it every day, what would you tweak?
Yeah, I wish it was one thing, but I feel like in order for us to even get there, we have to come up with a structure where, in my opinion, there's 3 commissioners, which just like in the government, there's checks and balances. I think if you have 1, it's no good. I think you need to have 3, and they're the ones that make the decisions on the rules, on the calendar, on everything. I think until we do that, we are going to constantly feel the way we do right now, because there's just so many things to me that need to get addressed. The calendar is way out of whack. How things go, we're going to have a one-time transfer window in January, yet the contracts go from summer to summer. That doesn't, you're trying to make decisions on your team and you're still playing, in the playoffs. And then whichever team, I tried to say this and nobody listened. Whoever the teams are that are playing in the national championship game are going to be very, very upset, because Their guys, after the portal's closed, they're going to be 5 days where anybody in the country can pick their roster apart, and they can't replace them.
Yeah.
They can't replace them.
Wow.
There's no chance to replace them. When are they going to replace them? There's no more transfer portal. So they could lose 5, just like we lost, I think, 7 or 8, 9 guys. And we at least had the portal in the spring. Once they're gone, you have no chance to. So what do you do? And I tried to explain this, and nobody listened. And okay, but all of those things, like there's just a lot. And then some of the people that are influencing and making decisions, I don't think have thought it through from everybody's point of view. And I think, to be fair, it's hard when you have people who are coming from different parts of the country, different conferences, different size schools, and to try to bring everybody together to make a single decision. That is the biggest challenge. But we all know in this world of roster building, whether it's the NIL, the revenue, and salary cap, like right now it's soft. So until we make this more structured, there's still going to be this gray area where people are upset, and then obviously the transfer portal. So it's really like the NFL in the fact that you have your team that you're trying to retain, and then you have the free agency. And we do have a model. It's the NFL, and I think the more that we look into that model, that we can use some of those attributes to help our process right now. But until we put the structure together, I think we're going to always be in a place where there's just a lot of hard feelings.
Coach, last question for me. Do you have a dog? It just tells me a lot about the person we're speaking to. I just like to ask, do you have a dog? Do you have 2, 3 dogs? What kind of person are you?
I got dogs on the team, but I don't have any dogs in the house.
No dogs.
No dogs.
Hey, Coach, I had a ton of respect for you up until this point. Right now, you just went way high on my list.
He doesn't like dogs. Do you like dogs?
Hey, I'll explain the dog situation just to put. So
let's go.
My wife, her father is from Greece, and growing up, he grew up in the village. Came over when he was 9. Well, they had sheepdogs there, and so when he was young, if he went by the sheep, the dogs would go and attack you. So he was petrified of dogs growing up. I mean, it could be the littlest dog. He's jumping on a table.
Wow.
So that fear went into my wife, and so she is petrified of dogs. So that's one of the reasons there's no dogs in our house for sure.
Tell your wife thank you. And I now, hey, listen,
all right,
you guys are terrific. Thanks, Coach. I like you so much more now.
Now I'm going to explain something to you, Joey. Ryan Day is a guy that likes to go to the track from time to time. I've tried to tell Joey to come with us to the Derby every year. He's like, is there any black people at the Derby? I'm not going unless there's black people. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just having fun. We're hanging out. We're going to the window. It's like the highlight of the year. Yeah. See you and Chip there. Just try to tell Joey what he's missing when it comes to going to the track.
I mean, so we know what Saturdays are like, and there's nothing like college football. But second is going to the track for a Derby or Saratoga in the summer. So.
And you're not working.
We got to set something up. We got to go. I don't know where. I mean, we're gonna miss the Breeders' Cup because the season's in there. But Joey, we got to do something.
Hey, fellas. The one thing that Coach Day did not address: there's no black people. Hey, listen. I like you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah. Bro, everyone's there. Everyone is there.
Oh, are they?
Who are they?
I think we got to do it. We got to put it on the books, and I think you're gonna have a blast, Joey.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Day, we're still trying to get around to golfing. Me and you've been looking at your calendar since February. You hadn't found a week in there, but we're hitting the Derby.
Well, the last time we played golf, okay, you pulled one and hit a box truck, and a guy jumped out and started screaming at us. I got in the car and drove off, and he and Raymond Harris went right at the guy and was going to try to fight him. I said, "This is the last time."
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Hey, Herbie, out the corner of my eyes, me and Raymond are looking for a fight. We're still a little younger. Out the corner of my eye, I see Coach Day jump into the golf cart.
I would have been right there with him.
He's like, hey guys, I can't be out here in a fight. You guys, go ahead. I cannot.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
No fights next time, Coach. Let's get out there and golf. I'm not going to make the Derby with you guys, but golf, that's more up my alley.
You suck. Coach, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Coach.
Here's to you guys staying healthy. Make another run. I know you guys are locked in. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you, buddy. See you. Joseph, you got to come to the Derby. You got to come. Kinley's with us.
Here's the thing. When
Kinley
I see pictures of the event, it looks like you guys are having a blast. I just don't see a lot of black people.
Dude, there are black people everywhere at the Derby.
Dude, there's black people everywhere.
There are.
They must not make
keeping score. Put another one down. Like
they must not make the pictures. When I see you,
what are you talking about?
You and Jake and Ty in your colorful suits, and Darren Brown's in there with his bow tie on.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a Derby picture from
All right, here we go.
From this year.
Uh-huh.
Let me find the team shot here. Now there's a lot of shenanigans going on.
A lot of shenanigans.
See, we don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you see my man Kenley?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, see, here's the thing.
Kenley is
1 out of 9.
By the way, Joey, since when you got to worry about hanging out with me? And Jake and Ty are there. It's just family and friends. Uncle Rick's there.
I get it. I get it. It looks like a blast. But here's what you do. You hold up one picture with one black guy in it.
That's just our crew. I'm not talking about the whole track.
Hey.
You're
what was that?
Why, by the way, why did you ask that question? How many black people are there? Why you ask that?
I like to feel welcome.
Because I'll invite you to you want to go to a high school football game? How many black people are going to be there?
I like to feel welcome.
Bro, you're welcome everywhere. You're you.
Well, hey, I wouldn't say everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't say everywhere, but hey, listen.
Every time you and I, when we go to a hoops game or we go to a football game, we go wherever.
Hoop and football, sign black people up. We're in. We're in there.
Not the track.
Not always horse racing.
You'd be shocked.
Not always. We're not always there.
You'd be shocked. Anyway, you're going next year.
I'm in.
I'm gonna get you in a headlock, and you're coming.
Hey, let's
By the way,
go.
how many brothers are out there playing at the golf rounds?
See, but here's the thing. I go with my crew. I take my 4 people, my 3 people.
Well, you're with our crew.
I don't talk to anyone else. I don't.
You don't have to talk to anybody at the Derby. You're with our crew.
The other thing, honestly, and as the older I get, crowds.
Oh yeah.
I am not great in crowds where it's like, excuse me, pardon me. Hey, can I get? I'm not great at that any longer. I used to be better when I was younger. Put me in a crowd, I was fine. The older I get, because you know me, I got to see exits. I got to see how do I get out of here. I got to feel like
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
You put me in a crowd, even your picture. You guys are all bunched in there. Hey, 9 of us on one picture.
No, there's 24. There
was 24.
Yeah, I think there was 24 people there last year.
That's
our
even
crew.
Better. So in your crew, 24 deep, you had one black guy. I'm not great at math.
That's because I'm trying to invite another black guy and he won't come.
I'm not great at math, but I don't think the percentages are great. 1 in 24. It's not great. And then I'm gonna have to deal with the dog. Your dog is going to be.
The dog needs to go. Petey needs to go to the Derby. I think that's a good question.
No. See, here's the nonsense. Who in the world would ask, where is Peter? Why does anyone care?
There's Bo. Here comes Pete. Come here, boy.
Why would
Peter? Come here. Pete, come here. That's Bo. That's Bo. By the way, Bo is growing. This son
Bo's
bitch.
thick.
He is.
Bo looks like a middle linebacker. I'll be honest with you. Between the one black guy and your 24-person crew and dealing with dogs, would be enough to make me not go.
Shut up. You love dogs.
From a distance.
How do you not love this guy right here?
I like people from a distance.
I mean, how do you not love that?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You hear him grunting? He's like a bear.
Did you kiss the dog? See how you do?
That's what I do.
This stuff right here, I'm not coming to the Derby. I don't want to see you people kissing dogs. I don't know why you kiss dogs.
What? Look at this guy.
You know what dogs do outside?
This guy's a human. He's not a dog.
You know what dogs do outside?
They drop a deuce.
Yeah. Yeah. They're rolling around in.
All right, hey, let's answer some questions.
Let's go.
Let's go. By the way, what is your top 5? I flipped Ohio State to 1. Who's your
You
top
what?
5?
Hold up. You did what?
I flipped Ohio State to 1.
How'd you flip Indiana out of?
God,
Whatever.
you got Indiana at 4.
Yeah.
Wow, you're not a fan, huh?
No, I'm a huge fan, but Ohio State's the best team in the country. Alabama, we just talked about their gauntlet and what they've been through. And to watch them put away Tennessee. Like
that's impressive. I love that
put
you have
Tennessee
them.
away.
I salute you.
Yeah. And then I go
everyone else is
A&M.
going to say, they have a loss.
They lost the first week of the season.
Yeah.
How dare you? Hey, I got a question now. Indiana, which I love them, but when we again look at their resume, I think they're a really good football team. But when I sort of look at your wins, and that's why Alabama's up there. I like A&M. I like what Georgia's done. Indiana, the question becomes, how good is Oregon? When you start to look at Penn State, now I know Oregon started Penn State's downfall, but it took overtime for Oregon to get the win against Penn State.
But dude, that was a different Penn State team. Come on.
They look like the same players.
They still had their heart. They still had their belief when they played Oregon.
Heart doesn't make it on the like. I don't have a way to measure heart.
I know, but well, here's how I measure heart. Look at how they competed against Oregon, and look how they competed against UCLA and maybe Northwestern.
Maybe
like it looked like 2 different teams.
Well, maybe they weren't that good.
Well, how come they were good all the way up until they lost to Oregon?
They didn't play anybody. We didn't know. They didn't play a soul until they played Oregon. And
so is UCLA a good team now?
Hey, listen.
They play Indiana, by the way, Saturday.
We'll find out. But I'll tell you what. UCLA, this UCLA that's been on this 3-game run, they don't even recognize UCLA before that. I don't know if they're a good team. I don't know what it is. Tim Skipper has done a terrific job of making this team believe in something. They believe now when they take the field, they get a chance to win. The Indiana game will be fun to watch. I can't believe you flipped Indiana out of number 1. I can't wait to see your top 5.
I have Indiana. It's like 1A, 1B for me. Indiana and Ohio State. I think what put Ohio State at 1 is just how they, like I just said to you, it's so easy to go to Wisconsin and just 20-13 get out of there alive.
Yeah.
And they don't ever do it. So I think the consistency.
Can you get the number 4, please? Hey, listen, you just try to it's like you're trying to sneak something in. But the best part is Ty and Jake made it yellow. So you can't sneak it in. It jumps off the page.
I love Georgia Tech. I love Brent Key. I love Haynes King. I love that team, man.
I really enjoy that team.
Joey, how about when I sent it to Jake and I said, I put GT, Jake responded back. Jake's my son who helps, my sons help us with this. He responded back, I need your top 5. I hit him with Ohio State, Indiana, A&M Tech, GT, Alabama. He hits me right back with, did you mean UGA? Or like you meant Georgia, right?
Yes.
And I said, no, I meant Georgia Tech. This is all shit. They're at 7, by the way, in the AP. It's not like they're 23.
No. I don't think that they're a bad team. I love what they're doing. I love what they have done. They're fun to watch. Yeah. Here's the question I have for you, sir.
Yes, sir. Don't.
Top 4? Like, again, they went their resume. They beat Clemson. They went to Duke. tough game. They found a way to win. Here's what I love. Haynes King is going to
So
run
you're
the
not
football.
giving Duke. You're not giving Duke any love.
No, I do.
You're goofing on Duke. You're goofing
Good
on
win. When I look at Georgia Tech, Haynes King has to run the football for them to be successful. Would you admit that?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I
Now-
admit that. He leads them in rushing.
He's the man.
Oh, if you take Haynes King off the team, or if he's limping around, they're not anywhere close to this.
Okay, so if you take Haynes King,
But the
and
Summits
say
is still out
we
there
have to
playing.
run it,
He's
I
playing.
love it. I love it. Is it sustainable? Is it something that could they have gone through the gauntlet that Alabama just went through and came out on the back end with 4 wins and Haynes King still standing tall? Could they have done that?
No, I don't think so. Not many people could.
No. Well, that's why they have to be behind Alabama, sir. Reconfigure this. Move Georgia Tech.
I got no problem with yours, bro. I'm not saying how do you have Alabama where you have them. I applauded you for having them where they are.
You always, it's just like you're trying to sneak one in. Indiana #1 last week. Here comes Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Mitch making game day since he's so close to home, question mark. Absolutely. I'm bringing for Joey this week. Game day is in Nashville.
Who's Mitch?
Pete's coming. Mitchie.
Oh,
Come here, Mitch. Come here. Come here, Mitch. Come here, Biggin.
I refuse to look at another dog.
This is Mitch.
I'm
Look
not.
at Mitch's face.
I refuse.
Mitch is asleep as he with his eyes open.
I refuse to look at another dog. How dare somebody say, bring Mitch? I'm like, who the heck is Mitch?
Mitch is coming Saturday. Mitch is coming. Peter's
Is Mitch
coming,
off the screen yet?
and Bo is coming.
Are the dogs off the screen?
Yes. You're a good boy, Mitchie. You're quiet. You're a quiet guy. Watch him. Watch this. Watch. You want to go for a walk? You want to go for a walk?
Hey, listen.
You want to go bye-bye?
Hey, listen. Hey, Herbie. As we was just talking about how many black people were invited to the Derby, I can guarantee you one thing. Whoever asked that question, there is no doubt that's your team that's asking where's
My team. Bro, your team hits me up on X all the time about the dogs.
I'm not doubting that. What I do know is the person that said, "Where's Mitch?" Your team. We don't actually care where's Mitch. We don't.
You don't?
We don't kiss dogs.
You don't?
Nah.
Even when they're good looking, nice dogs? Like
There might
that?
be an outlier. Now listen, somebody's going to tweet us, "Hey, I'm black and I kissed a dog." I'm saying there's some outliers out there. Like, we don't do that type. Like when you were beating the bees off the dog, see, my team left the conversation the minute the bees came out. The dog would have had to tell us what happened if the dog made it back home. If we would have went home, wished the dog.
So what would you have done? I'm walking down the path. I'm in the woods. I'm walking down the path. All of a sudden, zzz, I'm just like, I thought I'm getting attacked by red ants. They're just, I'm getting stung everywhere. And then I look down at the dogs, and they're covered in bees.
Gone.
And they're in their on their
gone.
coat, on their head. Probably 25 bees on each dog.
We wouldn't have known.
What would you have done? You wouldn't be in the woods, first of all, right?
No, I would have been in the woods, but we wouldn't have known that there were bees on the dog. The minute the first bee hit us,
what are you doing?
Gone. We'll find out later what happened. Your team
You're going to leave your 4 boys behind?
My kids or my dogs?
Your dogs, your boys.
My kids, I'm fighting the bees for. The dogs, you'll have to tell me what happened if they make it back home. When they get back home, what happened, dogs?
You're awful. You're awful.
I'm just telling you what my team would have done. My team would have been out. Your team, hey, get off my dogs, bees.
Get off my dog, bees.
Doggone it.
Bro, I look at these dogs like they are my kids.
Sting me, not the dogs. Here's you. Bees, sting me.
Absolutely.
Take me.
Absolutely.
Just leave my dogs alone.
100%.
Won't do that.
100%. Dude,
We don't
these
do that.
dogs, I look at these dogs like they're my kids. I do. Ask my kids.
Unfortunately, I believe you because before you had kids, you had dogs. So I can see you.
Oh, yeah. I'm all in.
wrapping it.
I'm all in. By the way, I just saw, it's 11 o'clock. We got to, Ty Simpson, best quarterback right now in college football.
He was leading FBS in touchdown passes.
No. I'm saying, but just watching him play. Is he
watching him play right now? What he's done.
He's efficient, man. He's efficient. There's some good quarterback play going on out there.
Julian Sands in that conversation also.
He sure is.
Hadn't played at the same level of competition, but I'll take Ty Simpson right now on my team.
Boy, it's amazing to look at the opener against Florida State and to see him now, and the way he and Ryan Grubb.
To see all of it.
Ryan Grubb came over from the Seahawks, and I mean, they're a lot of fun to watch. Very efficient. People were really upset. Marcel Reed is also playing great for man. He goes to LSU this week. People were upset with you about your dog takes. I want to give you a chance to.
Me and Ryan Day are on the same team. That's all.
He likes dogs. His wife sounds like he's not a fan.
Well, hey, listen, I like dogs too. He said no dogs in his house. That I agree with. If I don't agree with anything else, me and
have
Ryan
a great week.
Hey, you have a great week too, man. Tell Mitch I said hi.
I'm calling the LSU game. Yes, game days in Nashville. Joey, see ya.
All right, man. See you later.